Hello there, all those fated to click on this video. I am the Weaver of Fate, a broken entity of good, evil, chaos, and order. But right now, I want to talk about the state of movies. I have a question burning in my mind, and it came to me after watching some theatrical releases this year, specifically after watching The Odyssey. And that question is, are movies still fun? Are they supposed to entertain anymore? Because after watching The Odyssey, I wasn't that entertained. Now, there are some great moments, but after almost 3 hours, I didn't think it was worth it. And trust me, I understand that I'm in the minority here when it comes to this take, so let me explain. After this feeling, I wrangled up some of my friends and we had a discussion on the state of movies. We talked about the releases of 2026 so far, such as Iron Lung, Project Hail Mary, Obsession, Backrooms, Odyssey, even The Amazing Digital Circus. I'm adding in that one for a reason. Massively different films in their own right. Indie companies or even individuals now trying their hand at the box office audience. Some with surprising hits and some now predictable flops. First, let's start with the predictable flops. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that Supergirl was out until it was already in theaters for about a week. And honestly, I can see why DC wanted this one to be forgotten. The story itself is nothing to write home about. It's your classic, not your average hero, because they have an attitude and they're ill-tempered and oh, they're edgy. And after feeling like I've seen this movie at least 8 times in the past 2 years, I looked online and I found a term that I think explains a lot of the issues with movies recently. And that is the Marvelification or Marvelization. And depending on how you Googled it, personally, I like Marvelification. And this is where meta humor, action fight scenes, and interconnecting stories dominate the script. Now, in no way is this an in-depth breakdown, but the fact that this works for so many hero films as of late shows you the writers aren't scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point, they are digging the barrel's grave. To prove my point, let me show you something. Think quick, name that movie. An unlikely hero with meta commentary and a dead mom has to learn to overcome their own insecurities to beat the villain. Joke's on you, I was talking about the movie Go. See how it works like that? But after Endgame, what was a Marvel hit? The only half-decent movie that came out after that was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Ever since Endgame, Marvel and DC have been in a fistfight for last place, and the door has been left open for Sony of all companies to carry the hero movies genre with the Spider-Man movies. On the hero movie front, it isn't going well, but what about the live-action releases? Let's see here. The Odyssey, Backrooms, Obsession, Iron Lung, all really good movies, and Moana live-action. Let's use The Odyssey as an example. I'm going to be honest, The Odyssey seems to be a painting more than a movie. Visually stunning and ambitious, but the story or plot and the writing seem to be made from SparkNotes. The acting is phenomenal, even with the cardboard cutout writing. Great all around. There's not really too bad of performances. I mean, honestly, I can't get Tom Holland's Spider-Man out of my head, so this looks weird on me, but hey, it's just a personal preference. But the bowstring still gives me chills. Cersei changing the men into pigs still makes me want to throw up in my brain and then want to clean it with bleach 8 times over. And one major issue that I personally have with it is I can tell it's a Nolan movie. Now you might be asking yourself, how can I tell that it's a Nolan movie? Well, is there a convoluted story where you need a PhD in time to understand? Is the movie broken into 3 segments that aren't linear? Then congratulations! If one or all of them are checked on, it's probably a Nolan movie. Now also, a personal gripe with it, taking out the Greek gods from the Greek myth story.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
The Odyssey, for someone who knows the myth, seems as if the movie was made for an audience that doesn't know the myth Odyssey. Overall, it just wasn't for me. But after all this doom and gloom from movies, what can I look forward to in the future? Here's where we enter the indie films. Iron Lung, Obsession, Backrooms, and I'll add it here again, The Amazing Digital Circus are all worth seeing in theaters. Independent films are getting closer or already within reach of the giants in the industry. Universal, Disney, Warner, all of them seem to be scrambling to make something that sets them back in the driver's seat. Because ask yourself, when was the last time you said, I can't wait to see that in theaters? The point I am trying to make is the big budget movies are too bloated, and I don't think they're worth going to go see anymore. Every masterpiece I see being praised in the traditional media sense always turned out to be visually appealing, but the writing and storyline are burdened with cringy dialogue, unusual style choices, and a pacing that could kill anyone with a heart problem. Almost 10% of the top movies are all indie movies, either from smaller studios now breaking into the box office or even individuals now trying their hand at movie making. The bar for entry is so low that even single individuals now can enter the movie making arena. Movies just aren't what they were anymore. perhaps the big theatrical releases of big budget companies are just a thing of the past. For my proof of what these big budget movies could do, look at Lord of the Rings. They are still in the top 100 of box office earnings. When movies are special and are worth seeing, their proof of worth still shows decades after release. Although the traditional movie experience might be a thing of the past, the new movies of indie companies are willing to spearhead the needed change. Lower budgets, no PhD needed for the plot, and just relying on good, happy fun.
You're supposed to kiss me.
Okay, maybe entertainment is the better word there. Overall, I am optimistic on the change from big corpo conglomerates beating off on their movie pages, expecting people to see it no matter what, to smaller companies or even individuals who want to tell a story. One that can be enjoyed, laughed to, cried to, screamed to, but most importantly, give us that well-needed escape from life. But that begs the question, if anyone can make movies now, what stories lie within you? And I alluded to it earlier, but this is where the amazing digital circus fits in here. It was the first indie story from start to finish that has been told, making it all the way to the big screen. Hazbin Hotel was first, I understand that, but it got picked up by Amazon, so that's disqualified. However, Goosework set out and told a story that she intended to tell, even with the internet being mad over it every 12 seconds. The amazing digital circus is proof of concept for this video. Anyone can make a movie now. Anyone can tell their story and succeed in being unique. We do not have to settle for hero movies with the same cookie cutter script. We don't have to settle for movies from companies that are making them in bad faith. You can be the change you want to see. Sometimes all you have to do is believe in yourself and take that leap of faith. I am the Weaver of Fate, and this has been Media Malpractice. May fate smile.